You know, like an Arnold Palmer, but if you put vodka in it, it's a John Daly.
Ooh.
Do you know who John Daly is?
No.
He is like
Is he another golfer?
Yeah, he's another golfer that was literally like the biggest alcoholic ever. Like he won the PGA Tour. He would like after every like round, he'd just go and get super drunk and like go to sleep at like 6 a.m. from drinking all night and like wake up at 8, and he like won.
Beautiful.
Legendary night. He was like fat as fuck. Drank like a pack of Diet Coke a day.
Hell yeah. That's a hero we can all get behind.
That is my hero, dude. All great men drink Diet Coke. That's what I've gathered.
A whole pack is a lot, though. I remember one time I went to like this comic's birthday party, and like a sober comic showed up, but he brought a 12-pack of Coke just for himself. He crushed almost all of them.
It's almost
that night.
More concerning
Yeah.
than if he
is.
showed up with a pack of beer and crushed the whole like 12-pack. I'd be like, that's a normal guy. But you showed up with a 12-pack of Diet Coke and crushed. It's like, are you okay, dude?
Yeah, dude. It's like, I kind of understand the kidney stone jokes now.
I have never, ever had a kidney stone, and I've also never, ever, rarely ever drank water.
Yeah, knock on wood over here. No kidney stones.
My brother's had a lot of them.
Really?
My father's had them, yeah.
Really?
And I've never gotten them. My body's like, maybe I just have...
Does your brother drink a lot of those, like, powder drink mix shits?
No, I know
that apparently causes a lot of like today's kidney stones.
I like
like those powder drink mixes just recrystallize in your fucking urethra.
Crystal Light is like, no, we mean that. It'll be a crystal in your body soon enough. No, I gave him like kidney damage when I was a kid. I think I told you about where we would do this sport called close boxing, where we like hug with one arm and punch each other in the body until one of us dropped.
God damn, I don't think you told me that.
I feel like, and so like one day he just started like pissing blood.
Whoa.
When he was like 8 or like 6. I was probably like 10. He was 6, and so they took him to the doctor, and then it was fine. But like,
yeah, but still,
his blood. Yeah, it was weird. My dad was not happy with that.
So then he squared me up.
Yeah.
And then I did the same thing to his bitch ass.
Yeah, my dad was pissing blood.
Now they both have kidney stones.
I said, Retzi, get that ass over here. Pow, 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 pow. You want a piece of this, Mom? Yeah, dude. Nobody in my family fucks with me anymore, dude. Fucking fish in the tank. I don't give a fuck, bro.
Oh my God. Live from the studio, everybody.
I'm Jimmy Selesky.
I'm Eric Glazer. And, quarantine's wrapping up. Seems like, at least.
It really is. It really is. It's starting to get that vibe. I was telling you before.
Don't get me wrong. Like, it's still pretty serious. Like, I think over the weekend, D.L. Hewley passed out on stage in Nashville, and then he came back positive for COVID. So, like,
Jesus,
shit is still happening. Like, we're still in the middle of everything, but like anytime I go out now, it's like, why are all these people out? This seems like it's normal again. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, it's like as normal as it can be, but it's it's cabin fever, dude. And also, I do feel like there might be some substance to that idea of that maybe the heat does play a role in it, like not being as infectious, because like the cases have been going up, but also I think that's a result because the U.S. is testing like so much now, so we have so many more reported cases because we're testing so much. But like the deaths have been like way, way, way down. Like I looked at I was looking at like the CDC reports this week, and obviously they take a couple weeks to all get updated because like it takes a while after someone dies for them to like retroactively go back and classify that as a corona death. But like they've been on a steady decline, and then I feel like everybody, like it's the George Floyd protests when they were at their height were what, like 2 weeks ago now at this point?
Yeah, probably.
And so like if there's not a resurgence of cases and deaths as a result of that, then I feel like it might be safe to say we were probably good to do what we're doing right now until the fall at least, and then I'd be interested to see what happens in the fall.
Yeah, I mean, that's what most people are predicting is like a round 2 when it starts getting cold out again.
Me, an epidemiologist, have confirmed that we're probably good.
Yeah, dude. You're the first guest on Joe Rogan, right?
Yeah. I'm the first
on
one
Spotify.
Licensed virologist Jimmy Selesky says, let's just fucking chill until September, bro. I'm bored. But yeah, I was telling you before the podcast, I played my first gigs this weekend.
Yeah.
I did my gig at the company, the Globe Group, and I showed up and I was very stressed out. First of all, I thought I was going to get canceled because I thought it was supposed to be an outdoor gig, and I messaged her before, and it was like raining all week, and it's still supposed to be raining all week. But I think that's just a normal June thing. I feel like they always say like it rains a lot in April, but June has been hitting us hard, dude. But so I messaged her and I was like, so what happens with rain? She's like, if it rains and it'll be canceled, I'll let you know. And so all day I was out hanging out and I was like, oh man, I just hope this gig is canceled because like I was telling you last week, I was scared to play the gig because I was scared I was going to fuck something up.
Then you like talked about all those rules they gave you.
Yeah,
and
they had all these crazy rules. And then I showed up like 40 minutes before the gig, which is like the earliest I've ever shown up for a gig ever in my life. And, people were like sitting inside and the servers were wearing masks and like they had like people like they had like sections like if you're with a group at the bar, like you sit this part of the bar and then you have to keep like a couple seats between the next group and stuff. And like you had to like call in a reservation. They had to make sure they have enough tables to like adequately provide spacing, but like it was not nearly as crazy strict as I thought it was going to be. Like it was virtually almost a normal gig. It was actually better because normally they have this big outdoor spot down there at Lock Bar and it's right on the water and it's beautiful and but they always set up the music inside and they like shut the doors so you can't really see outside. And then this time they were like, okay, so we're going to open up the doors and you guys are going to be facing outside and they plug you in through the whole house system. And so we're playing the whole night like looking out at the water and the patio, and I was like, dude, this is way cooler. This is way better than when I normally play here. It was awesome. And they like had the hours earlier, so like we were playing during like the peak dinner rush as opposed to like playing after everyone leaves. And I was like,
hell yeah,
this is great. This is like the best thing that ever happened. But yeah, I showed up and like when we were on the Zoom meeting, they were saying things like, performers can't drink on the job right now. And like you can still get food, but you have to take it to go after your gig. And so I was like, oh man, this is gonna suck. And I show up and the bartender immediately was like, hey, what can I get for you? And I was like, I don't think I'm supposed to drink tonight. And they were like, what? And then I was like, yeah, I feel like there was something, blah, blah, blah. And then I was like, also, like, are we allowed to eat? Like, or do we have to take it to go? She's like, yeah, I can put in something for you right now. What do you want? And I was like, I'm sorry. I just thought like I just watched this Zoom meeting and then they said all this stuff and she was like, oh yeah, you must have not like really been paying attention, blah, 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 blah. Like, cause I don't know what you're talking about. And I was like, no, I guess my problem was I paid too much attention and everyone else was just like, oh yeah, this is whatever. We're just, we just figured we'd waste an hour of your fucking day and just tell you a bunch of shit that is never going to be applied. They did take my temperature at the door though. Dude, you know what my temperature was? 97.1, bro.
Ooh.
Cold as ice.
Cold
I was like,
as
am I
ice.
legally dead? What the fuck? I was so confused. I was like, is that healthy the other way? Like, I know if I'm too high of a fever, that's like dangerous, but I almost feel like I'm too low of a temperature to play this gig right now.
You're just chilling, dude.
I'm chilling.
You're just
like
chilling.
Easily the most chill performer you've ever had. Dude, this guy was so chill. He was legally dead. I want to know what Joe's temperature was, dude. He seemed pretty chill that night too. But that also made me question. I was like,
did they not do the temperature checks in front of each other, or like were you just not paying attention?
They just scanned at the door. They were super chill about it, dude. That the manager's temperature must have been like 94.8, dude. He was so chill. That guy was ice cold, and like I was, he walked up. I was like, so you guys had to take my temperature, and he was like, yeah, but the only problem is we only have a rectal thermometer, and like he was wearing a mask when he said it, and so was I, so I couldn't read from his body language that he was joking, and I was like. It took me like 5 seconds to be like, and And like I couldn't see his because normally if somebody makes a joke like that, they'll like be small,
they
like
smirk or they'll do something to let you know. Like maybe he's not the type of person that can like raise his eyebrows, you know? Like
it's
he
like,
couldn't.
Dude, can you wiggle your ears or something, dude? Can you fucking make me know?
I mean,
like all
I think people forget about the mask. People forget that it's there and like it covers up the most important thing in conversation.
Absolutely. He's just all we have is a rectal thermometer. I was like, oh my God, that looks serious. I didn't come prepared for this.
He's even wearing a mask. He's wearing a mask and gloves.
Wearing a mask.
This honestly could happen.
I've had so many interactions like that where, or like just like talking to people where they're wearing a mask and I can't tell if you hate me or not. Like I've just assumed that everyone's hated me recently because I can't tell by their body language anymore. You know, and sarcasm doesn't translate anymore. It's like texting. The mask basically makes us all text each other in person with our words.
Yeah.
You can't see what anybody means. I feel like I've been yelled at 6 more times this past week than I actually have because it was probably just them just being normal people and I just completely missed it. You know,
just mask on.
Yeah.
You had the mask on.
Yeah, it was super chill and then I had another gig the next day at Looney's in Perry Hall, which was the opposite. I also played that with Joe. And it wasn't opposite. Like, that was equally as normal, kind of. You know, they still, everywhere it still has the servers wearing masks and stuff. But, like, if as far as patrons go, it's like, whatever, you know? And, yeah, it was another situation. I went to the bathroom after the gig, and I was in one stall, and I didn't wear my mask to the bathroom, and I had finished the gig. And so I was like messing around with the toilet paper and thing, and it was like lodged or something, so I couldn't use it. But I had my wallet on top of the toilet paper thing. And so I went into the next stall and like used that toilet paper. I hate being a guy because when you're a chick and you say you're using the toilet paper, you can always get away with being like, I was just peeing. But like from this store, I was taking a crap at Looney's. Like that's what was happening, you know? Unfortunately, that's what was happening. And I left my wallet in the other stall, and this bouncer comes in, and he's like taking a piss in the other stall. And so I come out of the stall and I go to the sink and I'm washing my hands. He comes out at the same time, and he's like, I'm like washing my hands, and he's just standing behind me, like looking at me. And I'm the whole time thinking like, oh man, I'm about to get in trouble, And I'm like washing it, and I go over to the air dryer thing, and I'm like drying my hands. Just about to walk out, he's like, excuse me. And I was like, oh no, here it comes. He's like, you mind me asking what your name is? And my immediate thought was like, oh no, he's gonna write my name down and report me to the police. And I was like, oh, it's Jimmy. And he was like, and I realized he had my wallet in his hand. And he was like, oh, I'm sorry for bothering you, man. Sorry. And I was like, wait, no. It's Demetrius. I meant Demetrius. And he was like, is it though? And I was like, yeah, dude. How would I just know that wallet was Demetrius? How would I just magically know that?
Exactly.
So he gave me the wallet, and I got away scot-free.
Dude, that reminds me of one time when I was working at the movie theater. And like, I would have so many bathroom breaks throughout the day, but like I'd usually go to the family restrooms to have like a nice little peaceful moment. Mm-hmm. And one time I left my phone on top of the toilet, like dispenser or whatever. And like, cause I got like called on the radio or something. They're like, Mr. Glazer, we need you, da da da. I was like, all right. So I like, finish up in the bathroom and I run out real quick and like finish whatever I had to do. It couldn't have been like 2 minutes later. I was like, oh fuck, where's my phone? So I run back to the bathroom and someone's in it. I'm just outside of it banging. I'm standing around waiting. And then all of a sudden, like this old grandma just like came out and was like, were you looking for this, honey? And she gave me my phone and I was like, yeah.
She did like the classic high school thing where she texted all the girls on your phone. They get to text them back and be like, no, my phone was hacked. Dude.
She sent me she set a new wallpaper on my phone of just her taking a dump.
And you left it? You were like, all right, cool.
Yeah, that was my background for a while.
Yeah, dude, that shit. I was dreading it for the longest time. Like, I really wasn't. People kept on saying to me, like, "Oh, dude, I bet you can't wait to get back to playing music and gigs and stuff." And I was like, I can wait. Like, I'm not super urgent about it. Like, I'm working at Seasons. I'm grabbing that unemployment money right now. I don't need to go play acoustic covers on a bar immediately.
Yeah.
But I was also dreading it because I was worried. I was like, dude, I might suck now. Like, I haven't really, like, it's one thing to, like, diddle around on your guitar and just mess around and stuff. And, like, but I haven't been practicing. We never practiced any of our set. Like, when we meet, John, Joe, and I meet up, we don't practice stuff. We just have, like, our songs that we know we're going to do, and we do them all the time. And then other than that, we just meet up and work on our original stuff. So for the past 3.5 months, I haven't even thought about Matchbox 20 and fucking Slide by the Goo Goo Dolls and all that shit.
Yeah,
but
dude.
then
You're usually like getting 2 or 3 nights in a week of like
Easily.
multiple hours gigs, just doing them back to back.
easily, dude. And it
So
wasn't
then when you
in-
do the band gigs, it's like, well, I kind of already have been practicing.
Yeah, it's like, dude, I just played for 4 straight hours, 4 days this past week. Like, I'm good. But it didn't hit me. So I was worried that it was like I was gonna be super rusty. But I wasn't. It was like riding a bike, dude. Like, Joe and I just picked right back up where we left off. Like, obviously I forgot some words and shit, muffed a couple solos and stuff. But I do that all the time anyway. Like, I always forget words, and I always fuck up guitar solo. It'd be weirder if I didn't fuck up a guitar solo. I'd be like, damn, did I fucking level up? Did I evolve Pokemon style over quarantine? The Corona Stone, and I just
Eating
became
a bunch of rare candies, dude.
Exactly. But like the biggest hit, the only thing that was different was my calluses, my fingers.
Ooh, yeah, you got girly fingers from slinging pies.
I'm so used to that. Like, it's like such a typical generic douchebag guitar guy thing. But like, if I'm talking to a girl or something like that, and they're like, "Oh, you play guitar, blah blah blah," at some point in the conversation, they're like, "I bet your fingers are like so like crazy, whatever."
Can I feel your fingers.
Exactly. And that's when I'm like, yeah. And like, I was talking to this one girl, and that came up, and she was like, yeah, all the guitar guys I know, like, their hands are so crazy. And I was like, yeah.
All the guitar guys I know.
And I was like, yeah, check this out. And she starts feeling my fingers, and they were normal. And I was like, it was the first time I was like, no, I promise you, normally my hands are fucking disgusting. Trust me.
No, give me a guitar. Give me a guitar right now.
Trust me, my hands are normally repulsive. You gotta believe me. She was like, no, your hands feel totally normal. I was like, this is the worst thing ever.
I was Guitar Hero or
it sucked, dude. I was like, this fucking blows. And then halfway through my first gig, my fingers were like burning. Like, they were they hurt so fucking much. I couldn't even like play certain things. And I was like, I'm gonna have to like they still have like their
you snag a pick, or what was going on?
Well, it's the fretting hand. It's the hand that you fucking do all the stuff with. This
you put
hand,
some Band-Aids on your fingers?
I thought about it, but then I was like, you know what? You got to get these back somehow.
Yeah.
Because then next week I have like 3 more gigs. I'm hoping that like after 2 full gigs that they're just gonna come back. Next gig I'll be back to normal. I swear, normally they are so gross. And then I think that's why I was kind of liking quarantine. I was like, damn, dude, I look like I got a fucking mani-pedi right now, dude.
Damn, dude. Yeah, you got a fucking butt rash on your fingers now.
Yeah.
You just got to make it through the rest of summer camp.
Yeah, dude. I also, another first this week, I went to the gym for the first time today.
Ooh.
And that was...
How is that? Because I keep seeing pictures or videos of people going to the gym, and I'm like, no one's wearing a mask.
Yeah, it's
no one's even wearing one of those dumb, like, exercise Bane masks. Like, they could even just be faking it, but no.
Dude, I will say, I remember bringing this up to, maybe it was you or Dom or both of you at some point. Right before the lockdown, I remember like a week or 2 before, I started noticing people wearing what I thought at the time were those exercise masks. But then I was like, no, I feel like this might be Corona related, blah, 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 you know? And then the lockdown happened, and now I'm starting to realize I think Dom was like, nah, dude, you're just being ridiculous. And I was like, I'm pretty sure that might be these like first batch of people getting worried about the virus. Because I've never seen, I had been going there for 5 months, like 4 days a week, and I had never seen those masks in my life. Now, granted, they weren't like the surgical masks, but they were definitely like, I feel like because at that point people hadn't bought the surgical mask yet because they weren't taking it that seriously. They
Yeah.
weren't like, oh, let me go out and get a fucking M95. But they were probably definitely thinking like, oh, let me just throw on this exercise mask and suffocate myself to be healthy.
Exactly.
But
and then that's what also it's making me think that like no one's taking it seriously at gyms is because they're already like, oh, I'm fucking healthy. I go to the gym every day.
That's what I thought.
I'm not gonna get coronavirus.
I thought I was.
I feel like people are probably even cleaning equipment less right now.
Well, it's a weird thing because like basically the rules at LA Fitness and in LA Fitness I'm imagining everywhere, but I go to the one in Towson, and I walked in there originally because like I know you don't have to wear a mask when you're exercising. So I parked my car and just like habitually just walked up. I never take any of my stuff into there because I don't have a lock for a locker. So I just leave all my stuff in my car, my phone, keys, wallet, everything. And so I leave my mask in there too. And I walk up and he was like, oh, I'm sorry, I can't let you in here without a mask. I was like, oh shit. So do we have to wear a mask when we're exercising? He's like, no. Just when like you're like walking around. I was like, oh, so like if I like finish on like one thing and then I walk to the next thing, he's like, oh no. And I was like, then when do I just when I'm here, like right now I have to have a mask? And he's like, yeah. And I was like,
Yeah, and the steam room.
yeah. And the steam that was another thing. The steam room was shut down. I was bummed about that. But that would be like
Honestly, like why not? I feel like because
Yeah.
I saw online that people are like putting their masks in like steamer baskets to like desanitize or like sanitize them or whatever.
yeah.
I mean, just do the same thing with the steam room. Make everyone go in there with the mask.
Yeah.
Fucking get clean.
I feel like there's no way coronavirus is surviving in 180-degree steam room. You
No
know?
way.
Again, I don't fucking
A
know.
sauna? Maybe.
A sauna? But a steam room, bro? You're talking about high octane water vapor, hot as fuck. I don't want to be in there for more than 15 minutes. There's no way a virus is hanging in there anytime longer. I don't know. Again, I'm just assuming. But yeah, so I was thinking some people were wearing masks while they were exercising, and I was just like, there's no way that's fucking healthy. They also wouldn't let you use the water fountains, which I was like, okay, that makes sense. But also I
Yeah.
was like in there. I don't ever bring my own water to the gym. So
Yeah,
I was
why
like,
would you?
I'm fucking dying right now. Like I am so dehydrated that I might pass out.
Did
like
they not like get a water cooler or something? Or
No,
Damn.
not that I saw. They just had like
wild.
masking tape on the water fountains. And then I guess people had like ripped them off. So there was like some with like the water fountains where like somebody just peeled it back, but then they shut off the water too.
Damn.
I was like, dude, I could
I'll
die
just
right
go to the bathroom sink.
Yeah.
I'll make this even more gross.
Yeah, it was again, it was just one of those times where I was like, all right, what are we really doing here? I will say this. I never used to wipe down my equipment after using it at the gym. Because I don't really sweat that much, you know?
Yeah.
Like if I'm sweating, I'll wipe it down, but if I'm just like chilling and I'm sitting on a thing doing this shit, I'm not going to lie, I never did that. But today I did.
You
So I
wipe
was
it
like-
down before too, or no?
No, I didn't wipe it down before because I really don't care, but I care about other people. So I'm like, all right, I'll do this for you. I will wipe it down after this because I obviously just contracted coronavirus after not wiping it down beforehand. So
Yeah.
let me just
But
spare you.
I don't want to spread you.
Yeah, exactly. But it was I had a nightmare last night that I was trying to work out and I just like couldn't, and I was like so out of shape and I couldn't jog and stuff. And so all day I was like nervous to like work out. I was like, dude, I'm gonna fucking suck. But I just took like an easy day, and the first thing that came to my mind when I was doing it, like halfway through the workout, I was like, this was such like a part of my life for like, you know, for the longest time, and it like really did make me feel good and healthier, and like I felt better, and it like helped with my anxiety and my mood all day, and like it helped with my sleep schedule. Like I'd go to bed earlier,
Yeah.
wake
It like
up.
gets you into like a routine.
Yeah.
And it makes you like track yourself. You
Yeah.
get tired so you can go to sleep easier, but also like you're more energized in the mornings.
Yes. And you feel more in tune with your body. Like I notice like if I don't work out for like an extended period of time, for instance, for the past 3.5 months, like I tried right after everything got shut down to try and maintain that routine. I would like go on jogs and do pull-ups in the park or whatever. But that, you know, I couldn't keep that up I kept that up for like a week. And I realized that I kind of needed that place to go to. to just force myself to like go to this gym, be there. There's nothing else I could do. I can't get sidetracked watching TV, doing push-ups in my apartment.
It's like the studio for you. It's
Exactly.
like you go to the studio and you make music. Like you could totally just make music at your apartment, but when you do go to the studio, it's like, all right, I'm fucking here now. Let's fucking just get this done.
Mm-hmm. Because you don't have any other choice, you know?
Yeah.
Especially when I didn't have internet at the studio. If I went to the studio, it was like, dude, I am here. I cannot do anything. But it just stuck in my mind as like how, I guess, people would always say like it was super unhealthy mentally and physically to lock us down the way they did. You know, whether or not it was necessary, I'm not debating. I'm just saying like the fact that we did it at all was certainly a blow to a lot of people in their lifestyle and their routine. And it wasn't until I got back into it that I realized just how crazy life has been for the past 3 months. Like I was scared to play my first gig because I was scared, like just like wondering if I could still do it. And I was scared to go to the gym. But then once I did both, like I remember halfway through playing my gig, I was like, I fucking love this shit. And it was a nice break away from it to like actually step back, and after working at Seasons for all this time, to then be making more money for less time playing music. I was like, oh, this is dope though. I forgot, like I lost touch of how awesome it was to be able to do that. And I was just having such a great time doing it, playing music. And then, like I said, same thing with the gym. And it just made me realize like how different my life has become just in the past 3 months. And apparently how reliant I am on the outside world to keep me structured. Because, you know, there's a lot of people that still work out. There's this one girl that goes to my gym who I feel like I'm in love with. I've never talked to her before. But I always see her like jogging around Towson. And I'm just like, you're amazing. You're amazing. I can't believe you still do that. And then I saw her at the gym today and I was like, damn, this is crazy. I haven't fucking lost my breath since March.
Still not talking to her.
Yeah, I'm still not talking. I don't even feel like I'm allowed to talk to you. Like, you don't even take me seriously. I feel like those fit chicks, they're not into unfit guys, you know?
Yeah. I mean, they're either like into someone that looks like the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
Or like, I don't even know if this is real or not. I just remember seeing it on Scrubs, that like really fit doctor chick who was like into fat dudes.
What was her name?
I forget.
Great show though. But I think that could be one thing. I feel like it's like half and half, because there's like some fit chicks who just do it for themselves, but then I feel like a lot of them, like usually when I see girls in the gym, I'll think they're single until one day they come in with like this dude who's like 250 of pure muscle. And that's an even more disheartening thing, because it's like normally
I never even had a shot.
I've never had a shot. Like it's good and bad, because I'll look at that and I'll be like, okay, I'm clearly not her type. But then the other thing is, like, normally as a regular dude, when I see a girl that I'm interested in and I see her boyfriend, my favorite thing to do in my mind is like, fuck that guy. I'm so much fucking better than this dude. I'm bigger than this guy, taller than this guy, cooler than this guy. And then these guys rolling up and I'm just like, oh man, Jesus Christ. I got nothing on this fucking guy.
A little ego check.
If he starts fucking cracking jokes and making the gym laugh, I'm out of here. If he fucking walks in here and starts playing fucking Elton John on piano and fucking making people laugh and bench pressing twice as much as me,
I'm finished.
I'm finished, dude. What is even the point, dude? What do I have on this guy? Nothing. It's amazing that there are really people out there that just are better than you in every way possible.
Yeah. It's kind of funny.
Way possible. It's like, dude, you're just all around. Like, if this was a game of Madden, you'd be like higher than me.
99, dude.
All 99s. You'd think there'd be like one attribute, like agility, that I might have you. Fucking agility. I don't know. Some stupid stat, like small talk. Nope. This guy's chatting it up with everybody in the fucking gym. I haven't talked to anybody in the gym ever. I have a bunch of like rogue friends at the gym. That meaning that, like, other than Gay Kenny, other than Gay Kenny,
other than the men that you lead on at the gym,
which I was gonna say, dude, how am I supposed to do that now that the sauna is closed, dude? I can't do that anymore. You took that away from me. But I saw a bunch of people like familiar faces, like dudes that I see in there all the time, and it's just funny because everybody just looks like a slightly more out of shape version of themselves. Everybody like gained 10 pounds, and I'm just like, haha, me too.
Yeah, I've been eating a lot of bread too.
Hey.
Can't beat the fresh pizza.
Carbs, am I right? Yeah. Speaking of carbs,
Speaking about carbs, Dalia, right?
Ooh, I had that in my notes too, dude. I had that in my notes too.
Crazy stuff going on.
Yeah, and he hasn't tweeted anything since that happened, which in my opinion almost makes it look sketchier.
Yeah, it's kind of worse.
Yeah, but also I feel like that's one of those things. I wouldn't know how to play that if I was him either. Whether it like even if I didn't do the stuff that I was accused of, I still wouldn't know what to say, because even if he went out and was like, "This is bullshit," he'd still get like a storm of people being like, "Fuck you, no it's not, you're fucking victim blaming," or this, that, the other thing. So it's like, I feel like his only actual play is to not say anything, but also it looks sketchy still.
Yeah, I mean, if it was me, I'd pull a Justin Bieber. Do you see what he did?
No, what
he
happened?
He got accused of rape and then came out with like 6 paragraphs detailing how he couldn't have done it with like fan photos, like people like TMZ type photos of like, see, I was here at this time. Here's my receipt for the Airbnb that me and Selena and friends stayed in. I did not stay at the Four Seasons where this allegation has said taken place. I wasn't even in this part of Texas. You can tell by this photo of the pickup basketball game that me and my friends played. It's like, dude, it's crazy because like Justin Bieber over the years has gotten so much of this type of thing. There's been like fake, like, oh, Justin Bieber is the father of my baby, or like he cheated on his girlfriend with me, or da 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 da. Or there's been so many things that he hasn't addressed throughout the years, but like just because of like everything that's going on now, dude, he came out swinging. He went ham. But Chris D'Elia, he still has like a tweet pinned from like 2 years ago where he's like, "Fuck you, you don't have to follow me, like you little fucking bitch, like
fucking pussy,
cry more, bitch." And it's like, I would have taken that off my pinned tweets
I
after
pinned
something like
nicer,
this.
like, dude, can we talk about how much I love
like a link to a charity or something, or
donate to 35-year-old women charity or something. I don't know, anything to fucking take the trail off me. I don't know, but Justin Bieber, he hit him with the fucking Brett Kavanaugh technique. He had like fucking journals and fucking pictures and shit like that, which like, I guess it's one of those things where like, what else can you do? If you're in that situation, there's literally only 2 things you can do. You can either do what Justin Bieber did, which is go on a tirade and be like, fuck this is bullshit, here's the receipts, I got
he did it very maturely. He was like, I don't want to take anything away from like people coming out for these sort of things, but I just want to tell my side of the story. Here's all this proof that I didn't do it. Like, please don't make this a thing where you view allegations in the future as less than or whatever, but like, here's the facts. I think that was a very good way to deal with something like that.
I think the conundrum that Chris D'Elia might be dealing with right now, and I just want to
is that he did it.
Okay. I want to preface this by saying,
and I also want to say this too. Like, I feel like I'm probably 100% sure that he has done this. Yes. I don't know if it was a thing where he was just like casting such a wide net that he had like a bot sending out DMs being like, "Hey, want to snug? Hey, da 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 da." Like, he could be that kind of psycho. Like, he could have just like been throwing lines out every which way possible and just like trying to bang as much as he wanted. But also, there are some of those like chat logs or screenshots or whatever where the girls are like, "Yeah, no, I'm 16," or "No, I'm 17," and that's like super damning.
Well, the one that's and this is why I was gonna say that I like Chris D'Elia as a comedian.
Like, we talked about it a couple weeks ago. Like, I liked his last special, and like that's what sucks about this, because like one of my favorite jokes Was one of my favorite jokes was him doing like baby voice and all this other stuff. And,
Yeah,
like,
yeah. He does do
tricking
that.
babies, and it's like, oh, this is great, but also like, I don't know. How'd you
Yeah.
come up with this?
He does do that that one voice that he does when he imitates literally anyone, like like that. You know what I'm talking about? Like I don't know how to do it. I suck at impressions, even more than Crystalia.
to do in that.
Yeah, yeah, that,
like whatever.
perfect.
That kind of like.
Yeah, that thing. And that kind of gets on my nerves a little bit. But altogether, I enjoy his stand-up. I actually quite enjoy his... he has that podcast called Congratulations, which I'll watch every now and then. He's got some funny clips on YouTube with that. But altogether, not a huge, crazy, big fan of Chris D'Elia. I just kind of like him, you know? But I think what he's dealing with right now is that he probably was messaging this girl. The question is, did he know that she was underage? Because in the particular, the message that blew up first was this chick named Simone Rossi. I was just like cruising the Twitter right before the podcast instead of setting up. I was actually looking through the Twitter page and seeing it. And the original tweet that blew up that called him out on everything, she showed the chat log. And like, yeah, in the caption, she says like, imagine being 16 and being groomed by a comedian or whatever, and then the only reason you weren't molested was because you just got a boyfriend your own age or something like that. But in the chat itself, at no point was her age ever mentioned. And that kind of looked to me as like you were saying, like maybe he's got a bot DMing people or whatever, but like, and I know you're joking, but I think probably the more realistic situation is you have a guy who's like one of the most famous comedians out there. He's playing huge sold out shows wherever he goes. I mean, he's kind of got that like Dane Cook energy. Like he's like the comedian that's like hot. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Literally, I will say this, and I don't want people to take this the wrong way, but girls that I'll hang out with that are like my age, like 25, 26, 27-year-old girls, think Chris D'Elia is hot. And that kind of gave me hope because I was like, oh, cool. So when I'm fucking 39, fucking, you know, girls that are like 20, they'll still think I'm hot, which is cool. It's like, oh, cool. Not that I'd be pursuing them, but it's like, okay, cool. So you can still have swag when you're 40. It was a good feeling to feel like you could still have swag and not be like an unfuckable grandpa when you're fucking 39, you know? Because I'm getting close to 39. The only 11 more years now. We only got like 1 month until I'm 28. But now I'm like, oh, shit. That's not a good thing to say on the podcast like I just did. Regardless, I think what probably was happening is you're playing all these shows.
Yeah. I mean, but also your thing was you're talking about being a 38-year-old or 40-year-old who's dating or hooking up with like late 20s girls.
Yeah, it was just a good feeling to be like, I wasn't talking about 18-year-olds and shit.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just felt
also the big thing with like this Chris D'Elia thing is like now that like obviously it's totally not right that he was going after underage girls. Mm-hmm. But a lot of the other accusations that were coming out were like I was 18, I was 19, I was 20, and he was like trying to get me to drink with him, and I don't drink, or he doesn't drink, so he was getting me drunk, and and that stuff's gross too. Because like we all knew that person in high school that was like a quote unquote sniper, and they would go to a party, they wouldn't get drunk, and then they'd go pick up a drunk girl.
Yeah,
and that's fucking gross. Like that's gross.
Yeah.
So like, but also, I'm sure there's tons of comedians who are in their 40s, 50s, or whatever who are banging 18-year-olds and 20-year-olds who are like sitting on the edge of their seats like, I mean, what I'm doing is legal, but
yeah. And there's also, you know, like
not even just comedy, like business. Like you all know the trope of like a dying old man who gets an 18-year-old wife who are like, all right, it's funny because, you know, he's not going to last too long and then she's going to get his money.
Yeah, it's hilarious. But like, yeah, musicians and shit like that, like rock stars, Justin Bieber, you know, he can go out on there and go out on stage.
He's
and
a free
sing.
Man, okay? He's a free man.
He's a free man. But
he's a
like,
free man.
The reality is,
if anything, he was getting groomed, dude, by older women, I assume.
Oh, for sure, dude.
His peak fame was like 15, 16.
Dude, he was sexualized as like an 11-year-old.
Some moms were going after him too.
Oh yeah, for sure. But like with Chris D'Elia, it's like, dude, he's a good-looking guy. He's famous. He's rich. He's playing these shows where girls are probably coming up and talking to him after the show. Hey, but like somehow, I don't know how, they got like, I don't know if that was over. Like, it looked like it was like Messenger or something, but somehow they had like met at a show, like she said, or something like that. So like they exchanged information somehow. So this is a girl that he met.
It seems like it was all through DMs and shit.
True.
It was all like him trying to get them to come to shows or come to California or whatever. Like, I don't think it was ever like him going to fucking volleyball practice and picking up a teen. I think it was all.
For sure. So it's just one of those things where it's like, I just want to, before I go out and say, again, I don't really have a lot of anything in this race because
we have no skin in this game.
We have no skin in this game, and also
it's kind of just like a thing where I don't know where you're going with this, but I hope that we can both agree that like he shouldn't be doing that.
Oh, for sure, dude. I'm not debating that at all. All I'm saying is a big difference between messaging a girl and then after you message her, find out that she's 18 or not 18, than if you're purposefully preying on girls that are underage because you're going after girls that are underage. And it looked to me like this specific situation, the one that blew up, unless there was some type of backstory to it where they had talked about it before, but the messages that she put out, nowhere in there was it ever said by either party that she was underage. And then and nothing ever happened. They never met up or anything. So like then 5 years later, she puts it out there and it's like, okay, if we can find, and then like the other people came out and said their shit too. And, all I'm saying is it's probably the worst accusation you could ever put on somebody, the accusation of being a pedophile. That's like the worst thing you could say about somebody. More so, like I would rather have somebody believe that I killed 6 people than that I'm a pedophile. I mean, there's nothing worse.
For sure.
There's nothing worse. So all I'm saying is, before we get on this train to be like, Chris D'Elia's done, fuck him, I think it is important to actually look at these situations and really dig into them and see what the real story is. I don't think it should be enough to just have somebody put something on Twitter and then immediately he's fucking done.
Yeah, I mean, I'm willing to keep an open mind, I guess, but also there's been so much stuff that's come out that it's like, I don't know, it's kind of crazy, dude.
Yeah, it definitely is crazy. I like I said, I don't put it past him for a second.
There's a hilarious video where it's like him on another podcast and like you just kind of, it's like they're talking about a story about like this teacher who was sending this 13 or 15-year-old like tit pics on Snapchat, and they're like, yeah, he was saving her Snapchat pictures, and he was like, you can save pictures on Snapchat? And then like they're not talking to him at all, but the camera's still on him, and he's just like, okay, oh, shit.
Yeah, it's Matt.
Interesting.
Matt and Sig were actually talking about it on their podcast earlier. They brought that up where they had like the I think in one of the clips they put like the Curb Your Enthusiasm music right after it, like ding, ding. Oh, that's crazy. But yeah, it's something that I would like to see it looked into more. And I'd also like to hear what he has to say about it. I mean, it seems like one of those things where you got to address it, dude. You can't just, I think he thinks that he's just going to wait until it dies down, which isn't a ridiculous thing to think would happen because of everything else and how everything else works in the world, where every fucking other day there's a new top line thing that everybody's mad about. And so he might be thinking like, I'll just wait for Twitter to get tired of this subject and then I'll just go back to my normal everyday life. But it kind of seems to me, it's like, dude, if this is something that you're not guilty of, then you kind of got to go, you really should do what Justin Bieber did and maturely address it and be like, no, this is what really happened. This is the situation. I'm not the person I'm being painted to be. So I think right now I'm just really interested to see how he addresses it,
Yeah, it's kind of it's weird because it's almost even like a bigger hurdle to get over than like what Louis was like when he had all of his stuff coming out against him, and like, people still fucking bought his special, still watched all that shit. So like, it'll be interesting to see what happens with this because, like, I don't know, from the accusations, it seems like if it was going to be, if he was going to be held accountable and, like, get sued or whatever, or, like, face any sort of consequences, I feel like it's still in the realm of possibilities because it seems like it's been happening as, recently, like up to 3 or 4 years ago, depending on, like, whatever screenshots you see. So, like, who knows what's going to happen? Who knows if this is all going to blow over? Who knows if he's going to try to, like, put his own special out or, like, do some weird tour. We'll see if he goes the route of, like, now I hate, like, liberal comics and I'm going to fucking rag against you guys and PC culture. And if he, like, tries to go some other, like, lane to get another audience or whatever, but, like, it's all up to him.
Yeah.
He's awfully quiet right now.
He's awfully quiet.
Almost as if he did all the stuff he's being accused of.
Yeah. Because that is the one thing that, like, because I had that thing happen with, it was nothing sexual, but, like, that guy last year who emailed every single bar I play at and was talking about, like, the stuff I say on Facebook and stuff like that. And I'm a fucking nobody. Like, I literally just play around Baltimore and say dumb shit on Facebook. Not even really dumb shit. I just say stuff that I think is either funny or true, But either way, that was enough to have somebody that was willing to go through the effort to try and literally make me lose my job,
Yeah, dude.
And so that's another thing.
You could have just waited 6 months.
Yeah, I could have just waited 6 months, and then I'd be back to playing at Coladas in Canton, who literally did fire me. Like, I don't play there anymore. And like I said, I'm a fucking nobody. And it was for something like that. So it's like, whenever I hear stuff about this type of thing, and I did have this conversation with a couple female friends of mine where it was like the first day it came out, like it was me, Dom, and two of them, and we were hanging out and just talking. They're like good, close friends of mine. And we had this conversation, and they were like, we were kind of like going back and forth, and I was kind of taken up for, like, I was trying to be objective about it, because they were kind of taking the angle of, like, no, he's a terrible piece of shit person, this, that, the other thing. I was like, all right, I'm willing to entertain that, but also can we talk about the other possibilities and realities of what this situation could be? And she said, we had a nice, long, like, hour-long conversation about it, and towards the end, she was like, I agree with a lot of things you're saying and the stuff that my brother was saying about, like, how it is a scary thing that we live in this world right now where anybody could literally say anything about anyone and it could completely destroy your career. And the other reality of this situation is, even if this turns out to be not true, it's never going to not taint his legacy, whatever you want to call that. So it's inescapable. It's like, even if you did go through the process of disproving this, there's still going to be people that are going to be like, well, no, because we all know how fucked up the justice system is, and we all know how this, that, the other thing. And so, like, just because he's not found guilty, or just because he's not this, that, the other thing, like, we still believe this, that, the other thing. So it's like, it does permanently destroy you in a way. And that's a scary thing that I think about a lot. And so they were just like, the only thing I would say is, it seems like your initial, like, your gut reaction when anything happens like this is to always empathize with the guy. And I was like, you're right. That is probably a flaw of mine. Probably because, as a performer and as someone who has aspirations to do something at that level, it is a reality. It's a fear of mine that something that when I see this happening to other people, that it could happen to anyone, And I was just kind of said, like, I think you're right about that. And that's probably a flaw of mine, that I always approach it from the guy angle. You know what I mean? But also, I've only ever been a guy. And so my gut reaction naturally is, whenever something like this happens, is to immediately, like, the same way when this happens and a girl is immediately going to put herself in the shoes of the girl because she can relate to that more. As a guy, it's more close to home for me to put myself in the shoes of the guy. And it doesn't mean I'm incapable of seeing it the other way. And it doesn't mean that I'm dispelling of what's going on the other side. But I think that has a lot to do with why I always kind of consider all these other things going on,
Yeah, I feel that.
It's like, I'm just being real about it. It's like if this is the case and this guy is a serial predator and he's going after young girls like that, like, yeah, he should, whatever consequences are coming to him, he should get that. But also, I'm also not going to sit here and be like, well, fuck Chris D'Elia immediately, regardless of anything, before we know anything, Which I feel like is where all of Twitter is, which is why I think Twitter is toxic, because I don't feel like most people actually think the way people on Twitter think.
Yeah.
I feel like it's such a weird like view of society when you're on Twitter. It's like, it's just all the people that are like super outspoken and you don't really hear much from like, I feel like with the normal person when they see something like this, they're like, oh shit, what's going on?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Because like it's hit bigger news cycles than Twitter. Like I've seen it pop up like on national news with like trying to get like Whitney Cummings to say her piece on it or whatever. And
yeah, I think I saw something about, what did she say about that?
I don't even know. I just saw the headlines when I was like Googling to see if any other podcast clips came out, and that like popped up. There's been so many clips of just like Theo Vaughn or like Andrew Santino just making like a off the cuff like, oh yeah, they're not drinking Kool-Aid because it's a cold. It's part of their regular diet, or like all this other stuff, and like,
yeah,
which who knows? They could have just been. That could have been an inside joke that he's a pedophile, ha ha ha. But now it's like, oh no.
True. Well, it's just it's unfortunate that, and this is kind of like I guess something that's always bothered me is that we've kind of blurred the lines of things so much by making everything the biggest deal ever that whenever something happens, my immediate reaction to it is to question it, because there's been so much shit that's come out that has turned out to be not the way it was told to us, And so when something like this happens in that climate, and that's why I think it's such a terrible thing that people feel the need to elevate every single thing. And I'm not talking about the sexual assault things specifically. I'm talking about anything, any controversy, any scandal, with Kevin Hart or anything like that. Like all these things become like the biggest deal in the world for 2 days. And then after the fact, you look at it and you're like, oh shit, like it wasn't what they were saying it was. And it does have that boy who cried wolf type of scenario where now you've actually undermined the things that are actually going on in this world that are actually really bad, because they're competing for space in people's minds with all this extra bullshit that actually doesn't matter. And now people are getting so numb to it that you could literally say something like this and have it competing in aerospace with something that isn't true, And so now people are naturally like, okay, what am I looking at here? What is something I should care about? What is something I shouldn't care about?
Yeah.
Like with you saw like with Joe Rogan this week. Did you see anything about that? There's like I think I just saw it today. He's like getting a bunch of flack because somebody found a clip of him from like a couple years ago on a podcast with Joey Diaz, where like Joey was like riffing about like, oh yeah, dog, like when I was running the clubs and fucking wherever, like, like you gotta suck my dick if you want time on the stage, like blah blah blah, like laughing.
Yeah. Well, I saw that, but that was about Joey Diaz.
Yeah, but they were getting on Joe Rogan because he was like laughing along with it. They were like, they were getting on Joe Rogan because he was like, look at Joe Rogan just like going along with it, like normalizing it, acting like it's okay and like condoning it and whatever. And so it's like, you see something like that and you're like, okay, but at that point, it's just like, now it just seems like you're reaching for shit. Like you're trying to make things a bigger deal than they are, and you're undermining the things that are a big deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I feel like they're on Joe Rogan's case, dude. Every fucking day they got something to say about that guy.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's still in shock of him getting that like $100+ million Spotify deal. So like, I don't know. I feel like this is the only time where there's been a threat that he could have something canceled.
Yeah.
So I think kind of the blood's in the water there, that people are like, we have until September to try to fuck him over.
Yeah.
Even though he's already making a ton of money already as it is.
Like, and also probably big tech hates him because one of his reasons.
I mean, I don't know about that, but
well,
I just think that this is like the window of opportunity that, because people have been trying to cancel Joe Rogan for years. Like, they've been trying to cancel him forever just because of his like perceived power he has, because like millions of people listen to him. But now, up until now, he has never had anyone to answer to in terms of like where his money comes from. And like, I don't even know the specifics of the Spotify contract. I don't even know if it's a thing that like, it seems like they're going into it on almost equal footing. Like, they're just leasing his show. He's not really going to be an employee. I mean, in terms of getting him canceled, I guess they could cancel that, but that would just mean that his podcast wouldn't go to Spotify, and it would be like it was a couple months ago.
Yeah, well,
Nothing would happen.
because he talked about it a little bit. Did you ever watch the podcast he just did with Bill Burr?
I did, but I don't know if. I mean, he talked about it a little bit, but he didn't go into like too much detail.
He basically was saying that it's kind of like you said, it's a licensing agreement. Like, they have zero creative control. You know, he even said like they did email me like, so who's gonna be the first guest? And he was like, even that kind of like made me feel weird, because I was like, I just hope it doesn't go this direction where now you think you can like have any say in what I'm doing. But it seemed to me like Spotify was basically coming to him and offering him what I heard was like $100 million to exclusively only air his show on their platform. So it was an exclusivity clause basically. And in his words, he made sure that in that contract, he didn't give them any stock in the podcast. They have 0% ownership of the podcast. And he was like, I want to be able to have whoever I want on here. I don't want you to have any say in what we talk about, who I talk about it with, and I will do it. And that was a problem that he had with YouTube, was that YouTube would go on and fucking demonetize an entire podcast, and his podcasts are getting millions and millions and millions of views. Every single one of them, he puts out like 2 per week, and every single one of them is like the top trending video on YouTube whenever day he puts it out. And YouTube is just sitting there going, oh, well, you violated this policy, or you showed a 1-second clip of this video, so we demonetize it. And that's why, like, when Jamie pulls up a clip, you're not allowed to like see it on the screen anymore, because YouTube would just demonetize a video just if you showed a second of it in the bottom corner. And like, they were on his fucking case, and he probably got tired of it. He probably got tired of the fact that he couldn't have, you know, we talked about before, like a guy like Alex Jones or something like that. He felt like YouTube was like controlling him. And so he went exclusive with Spotify, and that's a huge fucking blow to YouTube. And that's what I meant when I said big tech hates him. I meant like YouTube is not happy about that. I mean, this is a guy who's bringing, like, I don't think I'm unique in saying that I have like 3 different like people that I watch videos from on YouTube about 90% of the time. I'll go rogue every now and then, but most of the time I'm going rogue in. I'm fucking watching I'm watching fucking Joe Rogan's podcast with whoever he's on, you know, typical stereotypical bro, I guess, whatever. I think I like watching him, and or watching whoever he has on. And like, I was thinking like, dude, how am I going to watch it? I don't even know how to watch a video on Spotify anymore, or ever. I didn't even know they had videos on Spotify, but like, I'll be spending a ton less time on YouTube now that he's exclusively on Spotify. He's probably bringing so many people to Spotify. Like, I didn't even really have an account, but now I'm going to have to like actually get my shit figured out so I can watch it, because he's bringing people over there from YouTube, and YouTube is fucking pissed about that, you know? And so I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of people in those circles that aren't big fans of him. The fact that he's kind of taking that sole proprietorship and being like, no, you don't fucking tell me what to do. I do what the fuck I want. You have no control over me. I'm not Jimmy Fallon. You're not going to cancel my fucking show. All right? I'm doing my show one way or the other. If you want to be a part of it, that's great. If you want to fucking tell me what to do, you're not going to be a part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think both Jimmys got called out for blackface, right? Jimmy Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel.
Yeah. Jimmy Kimmel's
I
was
better
much
not
worse.
find out that you did something, dude.
I think the worst thing I ever did was I dressed up as a Mexican for Halloween in 9th grade. But it was cool.
Yeah.
I had like a wife beater and like a beanie cap, and
You did like the Mexican from Friday.
yeah, like I was like an essay. I was like, I'm an essay, dude. Like that kind of thing. And you know, say what you want about it.
You've learned.
It was 2006. It was a different time. That picture is probably still up on my MySpace. It was my fucking profile picture on MySpace. I thought it was hilarious. I was fucking 13 years old. Give me a fucking break. I don't care. Look it up. It was cool. It was funny. And I think one year I was a gangster, but I wasn't like in blackface. I just had like a bunch of chains on and shit and a do-rag and stuff. Like, again,
Hell yeah.
I was fucking like 4. I think that was like the next year.
I was like 4, maybe 10th grade. I don't know.
Who knows, dude? Who knows? But yeah, but the thing with Jimmy Fallon was like not even. He was doing. Hold on 1 second. Way back.
Like someone else. Yeah, I hear you.
Cool.
Yeah, someone else did the blackface for Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah.
He didn't do that himself. Someone was like, you know what we should do? I know you're already doing the impression of Chris Rock and you're kind of dressing like him. Let's take this up a notch. Meet me in the makeup room 5 minutes.
And wasn't it not on Saturday Night Live? Like that was it was
No,
on Saturday.
I think it
what
was
it
on Saturday Night Live, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, how is Saturday Night Live not getting any piece of this? Like, why is Jimmy Fallon getting on his show and apologizing when he did it? Is his show on NBC? I'm pretty sure it is.
Yeah, it is.
So his network makes him go out and publicly apologize for a skit that he did on their flagship show. Like, dude, it wasn't just me in this. Lorne Michaels approved this. The network execs approved this. Chris Rock approved this. Probably. I don't fucking know. I'm sure he didn't care. He never talked about it. He probably thought it was funny. They're friends. So, like, the network is like, well, Jimmy, looks like you're in a big bag of trouble now. You better go on your show and apologize. It's like, dude, what about you, bro? You aired it. We filmed
You said
it.
that was your favorite sketch.
You gave me a show because of that skit, dude. You fired Jay Leno. Because he didn't do a Chris Rock impression in blackface.
Nah, dude, that's what happened with Conan. Conan would never do blackface, and that's why they two-timed him. They rehired Leno and kicked him to TBS.
There's so much that you heard about. They're changing Aunt Jemima syrup.
Yeah, I heard.
That one was kind of like I was like, I didn't know all that was going on. I looked into it.
I was never even like an Aunt Jemima guy, so I don't really care that much.
Racist.
No, I was into the what's it? I think it's called like cabin. It's something, I don't know. There's just like a picture of a cabin on it, so I'm like, that sounds like they'd know syrup.
Yeah, cabin. You're not a King syrup guy?
No, I know that's like the black Twitter syrup.
Really? Black people like that? My dad always used to drink that. Drink it. My dad always used to drink King
Dude, that
syrup.
might explain his fucking kidney stones, dude.
Probably, dude. Like that. Maybe you should stop drinking King syrup, bro. First of all, it's a black thing. Second of all, you're not supposed to drink it. But yeah, I didn't realize like all the thing about Aunt Jemima. Like I read back, it was like the company started in like it was so old. It was like 1861 or something like that, or like 1869, maybe even earlier than that. And I think the original depiction was like a very stereotypical depiction of like a mammy or whatever. But then, you know, over the course of history, it's obviously it's like, you know, you look at the bottle now, it's just like a black woman, and I don't think there's supposed to be there. I've never gathered any type of racial undertones from the bottle and from the logo or the branding or anything. And I don't think that they were intentionally, I don't think that it was supposed to be taken that way. But then you look into the history, like, okay, I guess this did evolve from that.
Yeah.
And so
I mean, it definitely started as like, do you want to have pancakes so good you'll think a slave made them? Get Aunt Jemima pancakes. That was literally their marketing.
Oh man.
Like,
but I do wonder, like, who was thinking of it that way now? Because this seems like another situation.
It's definitely something that we've like distanced ourselves from as a culture. That, like, you know, it's like it was literally in everyone's homes and we didn't even think twice about it.
Absolutely.
Like, same thing with like Uncle Ben's, I guess. I saw that they were gonna change their image a little bit, but I don't know what was wrong with that either.
Well, first of all, part of the reason I didn't set up tonight was because I was doing some scrambling Wikipedia and Twitter research.
You're throwing out your whole pantry.
Yeah. I was getting rid of everything. Fucking Big Mama's oatmeal. Get out of here. Terrible. Get out of here.
You just tossed all your wrap snacks.
Fucking cereal. Black people O's. No more of these. I'm not eating these anymore. It's terrible. Chocolate milk? Chocolate milk? No. No chance. But I was scrambling through the Wikipedia page, and like I said, I looked up the Aunt Jemima thing, and I was like, okay, I see.
I mean,
the
it was
history
like
here.
a real person.
Yeah, it was.
They
and then
they hired her as like the mascot and sent her around to like every World's Fair to be like, check this shit out.
check this shit out. But like it in that situation, I guess I can understand it if there were people that were mad about it. But it doesn't strike me that anyone really looked at it that way. It seems to me another one of those situations where a certain contingents of people decided they were going to look at something, go back in time, see that it was derived from something that was offensive or inappropriate, and then say, now we have to get rid of it 140 years later, even though no white person, black person, any person I've known ever in my life has ever mentioned Aunt Jemima as something that was troubling to them.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of crazy because, like, back then, I feel like Aunt Jemima would have been considered progressive because, like, candy was called, like, N-word babies. Like, little bits of, like, black licorice.
Yeah.
Like, that was literally, like, sold to kids as candy.
Yeah.
It's like, Aunt Jemima, what are you trying to do? Make them equal?
Yeah, you're humanizing. Like it's like it's just so it's impossible to put yourself in the time and understand the context of the time that this is Reconstruction era America. This is right post Civil War, and a company made a black woman the face of their brand. So you could look at that and say it's a bad thing because of depictions, but also you could also look at it and be like, damn, that was kind of bold. They made like a black woman the spokesperson for their brand, and this woman like was like a famous, I think on her page, it was like she was a famous like black storyteller and things like that. So it's like, all I'm saying is there's a lot of ways you can look at it. And if it was something that a lot of people were mad about and offended by, I'd totally support getting rid of it. But if it turns out that it's just a very small vocal minority of people that are going out there and trying to gain political clout and fucking clout points in general by trying to cancel yet another thing that because they can derive some sort of offensiveness out of it.
I mean, the way I kind of saw it was I honestly hadn't looked into it at all. I just kind of saw people posting about it, and I was like, oh, that's weird. Mm-hmm. Like, I never got that maple syrup anyway, but okay.
Yeah.
I kind of, to me though, I assumed it was like the right's response to like whatever, I guess, like the left is doing. I don't know what any side of politics is doing right now. I've been so fucking disconnected from everything.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of assuming this is like a right-leaning troll to be like, oh, you're going to take down our statues? Well, we're going to get rid of Aunt Jemima using your tactics.
Using your tax dollars.
We've infiltrated Antifa for months to learn how to cancel things, and this is whatever the fuck this. What's the dumb shit on Twitter where they do like, we have someone sent to CNN and we had them secretly recording their interns drunk at a happy hour, saying that if they actually had power, they'd change a couple things about the news. James O'Keefe, I think. What's he do?
I think that is what he did. That name sounds familiar, and what you're describing sounds familiar, but I don't know the exact
It's like
details
the
of that
Thought
story.
Project or some bullshit.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. But
Project Veritas.
oh yeah.
Yeah. Just him making a video about that.
Yeah, I saw that. The thing about Uncle Ben is though, Uncle Ben was just a black guy who grew rice really well and was famous in the New Orleans area because he had like the best rice, and he was like the maitre d' at some restaurant. They say his character was modeled after like the maitre d' at some Cajun restaurant down in New Orleans, and they made him the face of their brand, and it's literally just an old black guy. And it's owned, what I think is so ironic about it is Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben are both owned by Quaker, which is a subsidiary of PepsiCo, but more importantly, they're owned by Quaker. And Quaker's about to change Uncle Ben's logo from an old black guy, even though it's not a racist depiction of a black guy. It's just an old black guy who was a real person who became famous for being good at doing shit with rice, which makes perfect sense to me. But it's like, dude, Quaker Oats They're famous because their logo is just an old white guy. Like, that's the most famous old white guy ever, the Quaker Oats guy.
Yeah.
And so it's like, now they got an old black guy for
rice. I thought it was
rice.
Ben Franklin for the longest time.
Everyone, and I thought Uncle Ben was fucking
Aunt Jemima's
Aunt
husband.
Jemima. I thought Aunt Jemima and Uncle Ben were a thing, dude. I don't fucking know. That's literally how I looked at it. I never knew that Aunt Jemima was supposed to be this thing, because it probably wasn't after the year 1930. I just thought that that's what Quaker did, dude. You got fucking Uncle Ben, Aunt Jemima, and then you got fucking Mrs. Butterworth is apparently getting Evolve branded too, because they say like the body style is modeled after it. Now I'm like, all right, now you're getting.
She's too thick, dude.
She's too thick.
What about all the A cups out there? No ass chicks.
Yeah, dude. No A cup chick is fixing up a.
What if they start doing Miss Buttersworth of all sizes? And you get it's like when Coke has the names on it, like share a Coke with Jimmy.
Yeah,
they'll be like, oh, I'm getting the Miss Buttersworth that's like my body.
Yeah, you bring home pancake syrup and your wife gets mad. You're like, why did you get the B cup size Mrs. Butterworth? What the fuck are you trying to say? That's worse than getting low carb Mrs. Butterworth. That's getting the
Why
B
does
cup.
this Miss Buttersworth have giant cankles? You trying to say something?
I went to Build a Buttersworth and I got I got a custom made syrup bottle for you, honey.
I took hundreds of pictures of you in the shower and I had them turned into a 3D model on Fiverr. Went to Build a Buttersworth.
Oh man!
Look, I even got a matching Livestrong bracelet for the Miss Buttersworth.
It's just too, like I said, it's just too much going on. Fucking Land O'Lakes pulled the Native American chick off their butter, I think.
Yeah, I mean, they basically just deleted her from the picture. It's still like the mountain range and the lake.
Yeah, I just think we need to have.
Which I mean is fair. It's called Land O'Lakes. Like, that's what it looks like now.
Yeah, but it was like, the Native American chick, because that was like, the Lakota Sioux or some tribe. I don't fucking know anything about it. All I'm saying is,
did Native American people know about butter? I feel like that was something that we brought over, I assume.
I don't know. That's a good question.
Did they have cows? I know they had buffalo. Were they doing buffalo butter?
I feel like they had cattle. I don't know if they had buffalo, they had to have fucking cows, dude. I'm sure they made butter and shit. I don't know. All I'm saying is, I am just as ignorant and you are just as ignorant as the average consumer.
Of course.
And so when I saw the Native American chick on Land O'Lakes butter, I was like, oh, yeah, okay, cool. If I see a fucking Greek dude on Oikos Greek yogurt, what am I thinking in that situation? I'm like, what the fuck is that supposed to mean, dude? What the fuck are you trying to say? Like, no, dude. I think we need to draw a line between an offensive depiction of somebody, kind of going back to the blackface thing in general, with the Chris Rock thing in specific. We need to be able to distinguish between a caricature that is meant to be offensive with the intent of being offensive, or just a regular depiction of something. Like Uncle Ben is just a black guy, and he's on your box, just like the old white guy on the Quaker Oats box. To say that is offensive almost seems more racist, to be like, oh, even just putting a black guy on your box is offensive. It's like, why is a black guy offensive to you? Why does that offend you? Are you saying that just the idea of just being black is intrinsically offensive? It almost seems in those situations like more like you're the one who's making this weird, bro. I love Uncle Ben's rice, dude. I don't know how to fucking cook rice. Uncle Ben did.
I wonder what's gonna happen to the Cajun black girl in the Popeyes commercials.
Talk about a modern day thing that we might look back on 30 years from now and be like, and then you had the big black woman going, oh, honey, blah, blah, blah. Like, I could totally see that in like 10. I'm surprised nobody's called that out now.
I mean, everyone at open mics, you always hear like the comics around Black History Month being like, it's Black History Month because McDonald's starts having saxophone in their commercials and shit. And it's like, that's another thing that like probably in 20 years is going to be like, why were we just like doing that?
Yeah. I mean, it's weird. It's hard for me and again, these are times when I wish that we were doing these podcasts in studio, because I'd love to have this conversation with Ivan or Dark Mark or one of our friends that could speak to it from their point of view and actually get an actual grasp of how they feel on the other side. But from my perspective, I look at things like the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, which is just like a guy on the helmet. It's a fucking leprechaun, and they're the Fighting Irish, and their mascot is a fucking leprechaun running around, and like nobody's mad about that. Or like you look at the USC Spartan or the USC Trojans or the Michigan Spartans or Michigan State Spartans, and it's like those are depictions of Greek culture, and nobody's mad about that. You know, you have tons of situations like that, and I understand that there are offensive depictions of cultures, but also if saxophone and jazz is something that is emblematic of black music and black culture, which it is, which is a cool thing because saxophone and jazz is sweet and those are the roots of hip hop and stuff like that, then yeah, you put it in a fucking commercial. I look at that the same way when the McDonald's has their Greek yogurt thing and then you got the fucking bouzouki in the background. They got the Greek music in the background. That's an homage to my culture. I'm not offended by that. If you were making fun of Greeks by having us fuck a sheep in the background, then I'd be like, all right, now you're taking it a little far, buddy. I'm going to get a McFlurry now. I don't want Greek yogurt anymore. You're offending me. But like, if you're just being respectful, there's always still going to be people out there that are going to try to make it into something it's not and make people pissed off about something for no reason. Yeah. Nobody was mad about that shit.
Here's one thing
Black
that we
people
don't
love
know.
Popeyes, bro. I love Popeyes.
Oh yeah, Popeyes is amazing. One quick aside though. Do we know if Chris D'Elia was Greek?
I hope not. He would have been fucking underage boys if he was Greek, dude. He's probably Italian.
True.
Italians
true.
are Italians are chicks. There's that old joke. Oldest Italian joke in the book. Old Italian guy and an old Greek guy are sitting around arguing. And the Greek guy goes, "What are you talking about? Greeks have way more important stuff. We invented democracy." And then the Italians are like, "Yeah, well, we were the first big empire that conquered Asia." And then the Greeks are like, "Yeah, well, we invented like this." And then the Italians are like, "We invented that." And the Greeks are like, "The Greeks are so old, we invented sex." And the Italian guy goes, "Yeah, but we introduced it to women." Classic, dude. Those are the two sides of my heritage just clashing.
Got him, dude.
But that was a big right hook from the Italians right in the fucking kisser against the Greeks, dude.
See, are you ever worried that any of your blood is gonna do anything crazy to you? Because you're both fronts. Mm-hmm. You're the Greek side, you're into young boys, but the Italian side, young girls. Do you think they cancel each other out and make you into MILFs? or
DILFs, dude.
Or DILFs.
I think I've been pretty solid in my sexual preference so far. I've definitely seen some dudes and I'm like, that guy's hot. But I've never been like, I want to fuck that guy. You know? So it's like, I think sometimes that's the Greek side of me just yapping. That's like the Greek devil on my shoulder, like, yo, look at that guy. He's hot. I bet he's young. Don't talk to me like that, Greek devil.
Hell fucking
got the Italian angel on the other side going, hey, no. Just fucking a woman. All right,
there's a funny Mark Normand tweet that was so thankful when my sexual brain was at the intersection of women's age, it veered off towards MILF.
That's like, true, dude.
Thank God, dude.
It is weird. I feel like the older you get, like, I've been less into. Actually, I don't even know what MILF porn is anymore because I feel like MILF in porn years is like 30.
It's just like, or a late 20s.
Yeah.
Which is like, okay, yeah, that's how old I am. I'll check that out.
It's like, is this a MILF now? I guess if you're a porn star, then maybe that is like mom age. But like, when I'm looking at it, I'm like, is this chick that's 26 years old really considered a MILF now? It's crazy. You know?
Yeah.
Because I remember MILF seemed like Lisa Ann was like, I thought she was like 40 something. In fact, Lisa Ann was interesting because she didn't become a porn star until she was a MILF. I searched heavily for young Lisa Ann videos. Came up with nothing. I think I came up with like one blurry video from the 80s. And it like wasn't even as good as when she was 50. I was like, this is crazy. She like worked at her craft, you know?
Yeah. And now she's a mogul, dude. think she like started her own porn company. She has a Sirius satellite show. She's doing her thing. I think she even came back to porn.
Oh,
If I'm
did
not
she?
mistaken.
Oh no, once you start venturing, well, she's not a granny yet. She's definitely highly fuckable still, but
She's like on the later half of the MILF spectrum, which is mature. It's like it's a
Mature.
different category, but it's not out of the range yet.
yeah, once you get to granny, it's like this is ridiculous.
This is sad. Why are you still doing this? Shouldn't Social Security be helping you out? Or
Exactly, dude, they really must be skimping you. You know what else we haven't really talked about at all? Did we ever talk about? I feel like I had in my notes forever, but the country of Chaz. Did we talk about that ever?
Country of Chaz? I don't think so.
It's like so it's basically like after the whole protest in Seattle, basically an entire like a
Yeah.
whole section of the city got like taken over by a group of people, and it's like still blocked off to this day, and they're occupying it and they're like declaring it their own country, and like it's crazy. It's fucking crazy.
I
Have
mean,
you heard
I
anything about
haven't. I like know it's happening, and I saw something like maybe a week ago, where like a couple of days into them being like a police-free zone, like they were like giving out free food and supplies to people, and like apparently a bunch of homeless people came in and took all the stuff.
Yeah,
and then they're
yeah.
like asking for donations, and like, we're really struggling it out here. Like
Yeah.
we ran through our month worth of provisions in 2 days, and
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like sad in a way. It's funny to me. It's funny because it's like these people took over the section of the city and were like, we're going to live in this commune and do stuff the way we think it should be run. And then they immediately like built these gigantic ass walls to keep people out. And they have like this warlord.
then like ambulances couldn't come in or something.
Yeah.
I saw like a couple of people died.
Yeah, and then they have this fucking like warlord that's named like Raz Simone, who's like the leader of the police force out there and is like enforcing
Hell
by
yeah.
beating the shit out of people and stuff. And it's like so weird. It's like you guys started this because of a protest against police brutality, and then you just built this country in a couple city blocks, and it's like literally the opposite. It's like the most fascist state anyone could ever imagine. It's just the weirdest thing, and I almost feel like
Is he a singer? Raz Simone?
he was like a rapper. Yeah, he was like a rapper.
songwriter.
And he's like walks around with like a fucking AK and just
Jeez.
like terrorizes people, and like he considers himself like the law and order around there, and he just like terrorizes people and shit. And it's like the
I mean,
weirdest
honestly,
thing.
that's kind of sick.
It's kind of sick, but not
It's
when
kind
you're
of sick we have our own Coney now.
That is true. We do have our own Coney, dude. Raz Simone. But it's
Raz
like
Simone 2020.
I don't understand. Okay, so there's two ways of looking at this. If you're the Seattle government or the Washington state government, is probably the one who's more important in this factor. What do you do? Because you obviously just can't let them take over the city forever. But also, you can't really like invade them and like force them out with military force, because then that would kind of like revitalize, like strengthen their resolve. It's kind of the same way with like right wing people. They kind of like want to get blocked sometimes because it like proves their point. They're like, "See, I'm banned now. They're censoring me." But it's like if you just didn't
Yeah, it like
censor
gives
them,
them another thing to talk about.
yeah, it like proves their point. It's like, "See, I've been talking about them." It's like, okay, dude, we get it. It's kind of the same thing with them. It's like if you bring in and take them out with military force, it's going to like strengthen their resolve that the United States is a tyrannical, terrible state. So it's like the only thing I could think of to do, and it sounds harsh, but obviously this can't go on forever. It's like, stop sending them aid. Like, why are we shipping food in there for people that don't want to be part of the country? And it's like, okay, dude, you want to fucking have this city space? You want to run it your way? You want to be your own fucking thing? Do it. We'll see how long it lasts. And I guarantee you, if they did that and they ran out of fucking Utz potato chips and fucking avocado toast, within fucking 1 week, people would just be like, I'm fucking bored of this, dude. I'm hungry. My phone ran out of battery. I can't plug in anywhere because they shut off the electricity. There's no hospitals. People are shitting out in the streets. Every building is fucking destroyed. Like, I'm out of here. I'm going back to my fucking, apartment in some gentrified neighborhood of Seattle, which I'm imagining where everyone in this country of Chaz are from.
Yeah, I wish I knew more about it, but Yeah, I don't know. I kind of already said what I know.
Yeah, I don't really know that much about it either. It's just kind of it's been like a side story because it's been like it's weird because
It's the B plot of the
it
protests.
it is a B roll of 2020, which it says mountains about 2020. The fact that we literally have a country
we have a
that is
autonomous
seceded,
country.
yeah, from our own country, and that's like just like a third page news story. Like, oh yeah, also.
Also, Chaz apparently has nuclear weapons now.
Yeah, it
They
stands
stole
for
the launch codes from Microsoft and are about to deploy missiles on every capital.
It stands for something. Let me look it up real quick. Chaz. This would be a great time. Capitol Hill Autonomous Zone. That's
Yeah.
what it stands for.
Yeah, because I was getting confused because I kept seeing all that stuff about Capitol Hill, and I thought that it was in D.C. Like, I thought they were talking about stuff in D.C., and I was like, damn. I feel like I would have heard about this by now.
Yeah. Yeah, that's just something that I've had in my notes for a while that I was like, I wonder if anybody else is talking about that. I mean, I know people are talking about it, but again, it's just so stupid to me.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think. Oh, I kind of teased you with this before the podcast.
Dude, that's what I was trying to bring up earlier. I was like, when I said speaking of carbs, you were like, carbs, Dalia. And I was like, let's talk about fucking snowballs, bro.
Snowballs do not have carbs, bro. What are you
Ah,
talking
come on,
about? Snowballs are keto.
Oh, true.
So-
I didn't think about that.
Me and Elizabeth got snowballs the other day. The snowball stand on the avenue is wide open now.
Nice.
And they have like, you know, a line out front. They have markers for 6 feet. And when we got there, there's only like 2 people in front of us, and they're kind of using the markers. So we used the markers behind them. And it was so slow because they could only like help one person at a time. Like, you'd make your order and then you'd have to wait there until you picked it up and then left, and then the next person could come in. So we were sitting in line, and of course everyone around us didn't have masks on.
Really?
Yeah.
That's surprising in Hamden.
It's kind of weird. It was kind of weird, and it was like 2 sets of like young families with their very young kids who, like, I think maybe one of the kids had a mask on, maybe one of the dads had a mask on, but no one was wearing masks. None of the kids were wearing masks. The parents weren't watching them, and it was like, you know, in the middle of the avenue in the middle of the day, so there's like junkies walking around and shit, and like a kid's like grabbing shit where I'm sure someone peed on and like picking up mulch, putting it in his mouth and shit, trying to run into traffic. And we like start moving up in the line, and people start coming in behind us, and then they're not, you know, they don't care about the 6 foot thing. But also, like, that kind of pisses me off because, like, you see that we're doing it, and it's like like, I understand if, like, you and your group want to come stand all up next to each other. I don't care about that. But, like, you at least see that we're trying to take precautions and, like, at least doing a space in front of the people in front of us. So at least fucking be courteous enough to do the same for us. And we're waiting, and then, like, one of the kids is acting up, and the mom's like, I'm going to take you to the car if you don't stop acting up, Brooklyn. Brooklyn, if you don't fucking stop acting up, I'm going to take you to the car. And then at that moment, I'm like, she named her fucking kid Brooklyn. This is a special type of white woman. And of course, like, no action taken against the kid whatsoever. We're in line for like 20 minutes. It took
Was
forever.
it like okay, so there's 2 things that come to my mind right now. Was it a white trash type of Brooklyn family, or was it a like hipstery, like,
no,
I'm gonna name
hipster New York Brooklyn?
Oh, okay. Because I didn't know which type of white person we were talking about right now, because there's a big difference. You could be Brooklyn either way.
Yeah. No,
You could be Brooklyn because you were born in
named
Brooklyn,
after
Maryland.
Brooklyn Park. Yeah.
It's a totally different type of family.
Yeah, no, that kid would have had like a weird hermetic seal from the fucking bay water around him. No, but they're just fucking acting a fool. Kid, no punishment, just, you know, empty words. And it's like, okay, no wonder this kid fucking sucks.
Yeah.
And, you know, eventually we finally get our snowballs. Totally worth it, dude. I miss snowballs so much. I got Skylight with Marshmello. We're kicking it back. And I was talking in the group chat, and I saw that Travis was on the Avenue. So, we say what's up to him real quick. I tossed him a finger from the car.
Nice. Was he masked up?
He was masked up.
Oh, okay.
He was masked up.
Cool.
He was masked up. But we were getting somewhat stalked by. I don't know if they listen to this podcast. I don't want to talk about it in too specific terms, but let's just say there's someone that we saw but we didn't want to see because we just didn't want to talk to them. And we're just kind of like at the last moment, Travis texted me like, "Hey, watch out behind you," like in case you don't want to get into a long conversation. And then we just like power walked to my car with our snowballs and just fucking jetted out. The avenue was backed up, so I like ripped it through the 7-Eleven parking lot and just cut out on Falls Road and just fucking out of there, dude.
Who knew all it takes is 2 views on YouTube to fucking paparazzi all of a sudden, just following you around in hand and trying to get a snowball.
Not even paparazzi. I think just, I don't know, a bored person, I guess.
That was just wishful thinking on my part.
I just wasn't in the mood for that.
Yeah. I can't wait to find out who this was after the cast.
I don't even know if you know who they are, but I'll tell you.
Cool. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, but we can wrap up, though.
Yeah, that's all I had in my notes, honestly. I, as far as plugs go, I finally got my Spotify back. Like, and turns out I was wrong the whole time that I thought that this other band had taken over my Spotify. But in reality, it turns out that so quick recap. 4 weeks ago, I was planning on releasing a song, and when the song came out, I realized that I saw my Spotify page, but it had been like, there was like a 10-song album from this other band called Sophomore that was on my Spotify. And it was like their picture in the thumbnail and like all the different stuff. And I was like, what the fuck? How come my song is on this other band's Spotify? Like all my songs were on this other band's Spotify. And I did like, filed out some like quick like form to get it fixed. And I tried to tell Spotify that all of my music was on this other band's page. And then nothing happened for like 3 weeks. So then I was like, fuck it. I took down every song I had on Spotify and I just republished it thinking that it would create my own page again. So I was like, nobody was really listening to my Spotify ever anyway. So like, we're just starting to get things going. So I was like, why not just start fresh anyway? It doesn't matter. It's not like I had a bunch of followers or anything. I'm going to lose anything. I think I had 1 follower and it was live from the studio. So I was like, all right, I'll make sure to follow myself again. And then I posted my song again and it went back on that fucking page again. And I was like, dude, this is insane. So then I was like at a loss for what to do. I was so just in anguish. Had no idea what to do. And then I realized, I was like, you know what? I think this is my Spotify. And I think it's that this band's shit is on my Spotify. Ooh. And so I just changed all the stuff back to my own stuff. Like I put my logos in. I put my info in. I put all my links in.
Did you put their stuff on it when you deleted your stuff? Did you like make it nice for them?
What I did was I filed out a separate complaint form. And this time I said, instead of my music is on another band's Spotify, I said, another band's music is on my Spotify. And within 2 days, it was gone. And I looked into it, and I saw that this was an album from 2016 by this other band called Sophomore. So I don't even know if they're still around, because they haven't done anything since then, which isn't saying much, because you probably say the same thing about me. But I saw this other band, I was like, what the hell is going on? So I realized that I guess their music just wound up on my Spotify, and because I hadn't like actually updated anything on my thing, all their shit just like filled in the blanks, because I hadn't actually made a profile thing for myself. You know what I mean? It just like did it automatically based off whatever my latest release was. That was like the thumbnail and that was everything. So because I hadn't done that, all of a sudden this other band gets their shit on my Spotify, so it becomes all their shit. So I thought, oh, now it's theirs. But then I finally got it removed, and now my only task at hand now is there's this one French song called like Les Dignitaires
C'est Minou. I don't even know how to speak French. I'm just assuming those are the words. And it's like this weird, like 8-minute song that was on this like album called Waft Ball, which is a various artists album and a picture of like a cartoon playing soccer by a bunch of different French bands. And there was this one song by this band called Sophomore that is on my Spotify. So it's just Girls Like You and then some weird ass 8-minute French song that's literally like a drum beat and then some guy going uno, deux, trois for like the whole fucking song. And I was thinking like, there's no way they're going to think this is us, but still get the fuck out of here, dude.
Yeah.
So then I followed in.
If anyone wants to listen to that, you better act quick before it gets taken off Jimmy's Spotify.
Yeah, exactly. If you want to listen to that song, go now because I think it should be off of there soon. But anyway, in brighter news, now that I have reclaimed my Spotify, I did a whole bunch of shit, got my stuff in order, and submitting it to a bunch of playlists. The campaign starts tomorrow. It's getting submitted to like 50 playlists. No guarantee that it'll get on any of them, but hopefully it will get picked up by a couple. And once it gets a respectable amount of streams on there, I'll drop the link for people to listen to. Because I don't want you guys to go to the thing now and listen to it and be like, the song has 4 streams. So I'll let you know. If you're really that curious, the link's in my fucking Instagram bio. But I'm not making a big huff about it in the meantime. But those things are all coming together.
Follow him on Instagram at Jimmy Selesky.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Follow me on Instagram at Eric Laser. Follow the podcast at LFTS Podcast on everything.
Mm-hmm.
And
make sure to check us out. Yeah.
You got any gigs coming up?
Oh yeah,
now that's a thing.
Yeah, that's a thing again. I will be playing at Barley's Backyard Uptown. Insert a bunch of other names. I'll be there 6 to 9 this Friday, June 26th. Little happy hour thing. Bring your mask because you got to wear one to sit down at the table. Now you don't have to sit. You don't have to wear one at the table, but you got to wear one to get to the table. So make sure you bring your mask. You're probably already used to that, but I'll be there 6 to 9. I think some pals are coming out. Alex is coming out, Marissa and all them, and so that'll be fun. And then that's the only pluggable show this week. Cool. So we'll be having more of those eventually. Still no horse yet, but we'll see about that.
Yeah, nothing on my radar, but again, LFTS Podcast on everything. Like, comment, subscribe. We'll see you guys next week.
Every Tuesday.
Every Tuesday, yeah. You're watching this right now, live stream on Facebook at 8 p.m. every Tuesday. Check it out. See you next week.
Peace.
Peace.